Peace. What's going on, family? We'll give everybody about 45 seconds to get your seat, take some notes. We got a really dope show today. I'm extremely excited. Last week we had a dope show. Week before that we had a dope show. So, definitely want to continue to bring some heat to you. So for those who do not know, my name is Will Roundtree, president and owner and founder of We Management Services, co-founder and president, formerly known as Easy Funding, now it's called Credit to Cash, author of the book Credit is King. Look, if you have not gotten your copy of this book, you're doing yourself a drastic disservice. It's an incredible stocking stuffer, some great information in this book, and just all around. And I'm not even saying it because it's my book, but I think that for one, the book was written at a level to where a middle school kid can pick up this book and really go out and learn something. And so, let's try to make this book the staple of our community when it comes to the prerequisite of learning about wealth and credit. And so, if you have not done so, please go to Amazon.com, purchase a copy of the book Credit is King. Purchase multiple copies of the book Credit is King. If you want a copy that signed, you can shoot me a DM or go to my website, WeManagementInc.com, and I'll personally sign your book. Of course, I am a Tulsa Real Estate Fund managing partner. Of course, I also invested in Tulsa. Several different accolades. Real estate investor, real estate coach, business entrepreneur coach, just all around. I just love business and entrepreneurship. But more importantly, I always like to tell people my bread and butter started off in credit. For those who do not know, last night we had a very powerful how to build a six-figure income in a credit repair space webinar last night. It is available for sale for just the replay. Anybody who is looking to start their own credit repair business, look, I'm giving you access to all of the tools that we've used to build this business. Now, of course, there is a cost for it. It's not free, so I definitely want to put that out there. But I can assure you that everybody who has purchased any of the services that come along or components with building their own credit repair business, just the training alone that you get, because we're going to show you how to put systems in place. And for those who don't know, systems is how you scale your business in spite of you. So most importantly, that's what we're going to teach you. So if you want information to that webinar link, feel free to send us a message. Also, I want to salute Mr. Will Roundtree IG page, the Jay Morrison Academy fan page. So I do have both of the cameras rolling for both of the IG pages that will be up to date. So before I bring up our guests, just want to talk a little bit about what today's FICO Friday is going to be. Of course, get your questions ready. We want to try to answer as many questions as possible for you while we are here on this live. So today's FICO Friday topic is more so just about changing your mindset in relations to credit. And I feel the reason that's so important is because I think that within our community, we've been, and I think on purpose, mentally abused when it comes to finances. We've been led down a path to where, we've grown up thinking that accumulating wealth is impossible. But that's because we've been at a disadvantage for over 450 plus years when it comes to the information. A lot of the information that we've been sharing with you in regards to credit, a lot of it comes with changing our mindset about it, because again, we were not taught these principles. Within my household and within the communities that I grew up in, we didn't grow up talking about money. We didn't talk about credit. We didn't talk about, acquiring real estate. We didn't talk about starting businesses. And so just that, lack of conversation alone within our households has put us at a disadvantage because now we're only privy to what the media wants us to see that we can be. Yeah, sports, entertainment, music. Not that it's anything wrong with those industries, but understand, not everybody's going to be qualified to make it in sports. Not everybody's going to be qualified to make it into the music industry. And so we definitely want to have other avenues as far as how we can build wealth. And not everybody wants to go and have an actual traditional corporate America career. And so that's one of the things I love about entrepreneurship. I felt we weren't taught about entrepreneurship growing up, which put us at a disadvantage. And so one of the things that I've really been thinking about and doing a lot of research is that one of the plights of our community of why we've been behind the eight ball when it comes to building wealth is because we don't know what wealth look like. We haven't been taught about wealth. And so I always share with people that once you truly understand wealth, you understand how money works, you understand appreciation, depreciation, inflation, all these different things that have a cyclical, surrounding around all those mechanisms when it comes to building wealth, you have a newfound respect, first of all, about what it takes to acquire wealth. And one of those things is patience. A lot of us don't have patience when it comes to trying to build wealth. We invest $300 today, we want it to be $3 million tomorrow. And that's just not practical. I once heard it said that true wealth is built slowly. And so we have to understand that the true wealth, it really isn't being built slow because it only seems slow because we're babysitting the time. And a lot of times we're babysitting the time is because we've waited too late to get into the game, quote unquote. And now we're looking to get a return on our money from a place of desperation. And the very first sign we see where there's no movement, we get discouraged and say it's a scam and I don't want to do business with them and they shady, this, that, and the third. And that's not the case because, again, another term we weren't taught about, we were not taught about compounded interest. See, wealth is really just about compounded interest. A penny doubled every single day. And so once we understand those types of terminologies and concepts and different things like that, that's where we then begin to start to separate, and have an unfair advantage in the marketplace when it comes to building wealth. And so going back to, having a different mindset when it comes to building credit, because we've been, bamboozled into thinking that credit is bad, but meantime, the people who are getting wealthy have been building credit, for eons. Hove, for those who don't know, Jay-Z, he gave us the game in the album. He talked about how the Jews built their wealth, and it was merely off of credit. And when you go and actually start to research that, Jews were one of the first ones that started doing barters, meaning bartering their services for something of another service, meaning, when Jews first started to lend money to other Jews, they couldn't charge each other interest. So how did they recoup their money? They invested into that business and bartered their money for a piece of their business, hence being able to pay them back in the form of giving them credit. So credit has been around a long time, even from a bartering system. I come in and fix your roof, and in return, you come and fix my locks because you're a locksmith. So credit is not a new term. It's just been flipped into a different manuscript. And that's the thing that we have to truly understand. And so with credit being a lifeline, I was talking with a king a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me about some of the financial scenarios he was going through and how if it had not have been for his credit, he would have been devastated. His family would have been homeless. But because he had been following the principles and understanding, and how I always share with people, at minimum, you should have access to at least $10,000 of available credit just in case, because life happens. And once we can get kind of this preconceived notation that, credit is bad, credit is not bad. It's people who are irresponsible with credit that's bad. So that's where a lot of that mind shift change comes in from, and why, I'm so such a component of talking about the mindset with everything that I do with our clients. Even with my real estate coaching clients, our first two phone calls are dealing with the mindset. Because if you truly can change your mindset, everything else will go into play. Because then you also have the mindset to be able to deal with defeat and understand that failure is really not the type of failure we assume it is. It's just the stepping stone towards success. So, hopefully you guys see I just get extremely passionate and excited. I'm actually feeling a little bit under the weather, but I'm still going to try to bring, the same energy for you guys. So what I want to do, hopefully the King is on the live. I want to bring on my brother. And before, while he's requesting access, just a little bit about this King that I wanted to share with you guys. King LaRod, not only is, I deem him as a king that I highly respect, but he's also been a brother, been a family member to me, a friend. I mean, he doesn't know, but it's been times when, I may be going through a period mentally because we all get emotionally drained. And now I go and follow his page and watch his commands and how he moves. And one of the other things that I truly admire about this brother is that, one of the things that one of my mentors taught me, he said that you want to be able to make sure that you can take care of your health while building wealth. Because most people will sacrifice their health to get their wealth. But then once they get their wealth, they will spend every single dime to get their health back. And so King LaRod has been very instrumental in teaching me from afar how to balance both, to go after the health and the wealth, and just have a much more well-balanced life. So, without further ado, I want to bring on my brother, King LaRod. Are you there?
I'm here, King. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, I definitely appreciate you taking time out your extremely busy schedule out there on the East Coast. Wherever you are, I know you've been crisscrossing the country these past few weeks. But for those who may not be familiar with you, can you please just, share who you are, what you do, and a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, first, let me just acknowledge you, King, because I was listening just like everybody else. Like everybody else was, I was tuned into you 100% and dialed into your message like I am regularly, and it's absolutely powerful, man. There's no way somebody else could have articulated that better. I'm just grateful. It is my honor to be here on your platform to share a little bit about what I've been up to, and maybe some of my journey and my story could be a blessing to somebody else. There's another person on the other line that's maybe in a spot that we were once in and can learn from that journey. I was just saying anything else is that I have learned way more from my failures and from other people's failures than I have learned from their successes. So what I plan to share a lot on today is not going to be what most people think. Is a whole bunch of my grand successes, which God has blessed me. I've had some great successes. I've had some successes. But I think that your viewers, people who are here, are going to learn a lot more from my failures today. And I plan to share those with you. And hopefully you guys get something from me from that. So I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Brownsville, 90s, East Flatbush area of Brooklyn. Came up from a single family home. My mom and dad separated when I was young, so I followed a pretty traditional path of many young black men. And from my neighborhood, went off to college, came back, got a job, big credit, big college loans and everything else. And I went off to become an entrepreneur after losing my job. Let me not skip that, because I tend to skip over that. For 5 years, I worked for a company called J.P. Morgan. I think that somewhere in the line, I blocked that out of my mind, bro.
Right. I've been there myself.
I think I have. So out of college, I had this job. And I say this because many of you may be doing what I did. I was so proud of this job, man. I assigned everything about myself to this job, man. I worked for this company. I was so proud I got this job working for this company. And after 5 years, they decided that they no longer needed my service. JP Morgan merged with Chase. And when they did, they got rid of my entire division.
Wow.
And in a heartbeat, I decision that was best for me, and I launched my own business, became an entrepreneur in the end of 2003. So 2018 makes 15 years as an entrepreneur.
Wow.
Yeah. Ultimately, I went through, well, I'm sure you're going to bring out a whole bunch of other questions about it, but I can tell you I went through a very rickety road as an entrepreneur, owning multiple businesses, from an online supermarket catering and sending care packages to prisons, to a chain of shipping stores called Sandbox that I founded and franchised back in 2006, where I had 5 stores in Brooklyn, to now being a public speaker, a trainer, and an author of Black Warrior King and a men's personal development group. That's where I'm at.
Definitely, King. So, so let's start a little bit in the middle of your story. You've been an entrepreneur for a latter part of 15 plus years, and you've had multiple businesses. Excuse me. Now, I remember when we first met, I know some of the businesses you had were the courier services and whatnot. And I can remember we talking about, you just kind of being introduced to credit. First, let's talk about what was the difference in not having credit when you were building your businesses versus what you know about credit right now. Because that's the thing I try to tell a lot of business owners coming up. No matter how much success you've had in business, your credit is the lifeline to your company. Can you share with me how you felt that the understanding credit has been important as you've grown as an entrepreneur? We can't hear you, King. What is it? Okay. We're still good though, right? All right. All right. We'll give King LaRod another second or two.
King, you there?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
A little bit of it. Yeah. Is that signal better?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I think that we were having a bad signal, so I just came off of Wi-Fi. So I think that if I caught the last of what you was telling me before, that when me and you first met, if I got this right, I really didn't know much about credit and the impact that it was going to have on my business. Is that about right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just to be totally transparent with you guys, I had built a business on brute force and ignorance in an economy that was kind of booming and flourishing. So you kind of fooled into thinking everything was operating, and I lived like in a cash world, right? Like cash was coming in, so cash was going out, and I used banks, but I might as well have been putting it in a shoebox because I really wasn't a good steward of credit. And I really didn't know or have a professional to tell me how I should grow or manage my credit. And what I ended up doing was totally bastardizing my credit and totally destroying it. And when the economy took a shift and I should have made some changes, I ended up really just killing myself. I had some high interest credit cards. I had a whole bunch of debt that I really just didn't know how to consolidate. I was afraid of it. And I buried my head, like I ostracized myself. I learned that term during this time, ostracizing. Like an ostrich.
Okay.
When somebody comes for an ostrich, you know what I'm saying? An ostrich just runs and puts his head in the fucking sand. Excuse my language, brother.
You good?
An ostrich puts his head in the sand, and whatever's going to come will still kill the ostrich, but the ostrich believes that if it doesn't pay attention, it doesn't exist. That was me. And I think many people treat the same thing with credit. They think that those letters are coming in, and if they throw them out, or if they don't pay attention to them,
they go away.
They don't exist. But truthfully, until we had some of that conversation, I really
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying, King? Like, King, I was afraid of my phone. The phone that my wife called me on, my kids, everybody that I needed to use all the time. I didn't want my phone to ring.
Wow.
Like the numbers used to come on my phone, it was terrifying to me. You know, it was just a space that was so negative in my life because I was being tracked down by so many people because I just wasn't a good steward and a good manager of the credit, and I wasn't following up. I just didn't make the phone calls.
Right.
I didn't get anybody to help me.
Right. So so from that point, what was the paradigm shift in you? What was the mindset you had that said, you know what, not only do I got to do better, but now let me go and find the solution? Because I think a lot of times we have intentions on wanting more or to do better, but we're not intentional about acting on, you know, the moment of that aha moment or going to get that information. So what was that like for you?
Well, I would want to say, King, that I just woke up and I had an epiphany and became just so wise, but it wasn't. I had got to the end of my rope. I had lost almost everything, King. I was at the point when I was digging out through, I was taking change out of my little thing inside the car. I was digging up, where else I could come up with a couple of dollars here and there for gas money. You know, I was getting rid of things. I was selling things off. I was just finding myself in a very pitiful spot, coming from somebody who had generated $1 million. If you got multiple businesses generating $50,000, $60,000 a month, to go into a space where you can't even buy groceries. I had just got to the end of my rope and there was nothing left. And when there was nothing left, and there was no more doors to knock on, and all of the people that I was helping out, and I was giving money to and supporting them, and I couldn't find anybody to help me, I decided that I needed to just humble myself.
Right.
And I needed to go and seek out somebody else. Because many times, especially black men, a lot of us black men are real strong and proud. I was driving a car that I couldn't even afford. I had a 2009 Escalade hybrid truck and a 750 BMW, bro. And couldn't afford to put gas in them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I remember the first conversation that we had when we talked about that. And so from that standpoint, where did you then say, you know what, I'm past the denial stage, let me now attack this head on? And then where did that mindset change when it came to your credit? Where did that start to happen?
Okay, so there was a gap. There was a gap there where I had to first stop the bleeding and I had to face something called bankruptcy. So as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, you hear that term bankruptcy and you think it's such a horrible thing. I thought it meant death. I actually thought that bankruptcy means that you die. And it was just uneducated things, like you financially die for the rest of your life. You just have this thing on you, this BR, and you're finished and you're over. And that wasn't the truth. I found a man, his name was Darren Aronow, totally didn't look like anything that I thought was going to be the type of guy to help me, big white guy. And he totally enlightened me on what bankruptcy is. It is a way, a mechanism for people who are like me, who stuck my neck out to do what the American dream is to create business and to be flourishing and to try things out and be creative and push the economy forward. That's what entrepreneurship is about. And I was doing my best to push the envelope in business, but I stumbled and I fell. So it allows you to recover and come back as a human being. And yes, there's going to be some consequences. You're going to lose some things.
Facts.
But because I was willing to finally face the music, and I went through bankruptcy, and after the process was over, and yes, it was a daunting process, and it did take a lot from me and cost a lot. It was the line in the sand that I needed to now say, listen, now I'm going to pay attention to my new life that I've created for myself, and And I realized in that process how it wasn't the cash that was really important. It was my creditors. It was those people who were willing to extend me their good, their fortune for my good name. And that was worth more than any of the stuff that I had ended up buying.
Correct.
And then we met. And we started to do some real powerful things, and we took my credit score from, I don't know if I want to. Should I say it already? Should I spit it out?
Hey, yeah, let's go ahead and give them what they want.
So I went from I had a 500 from before. I think by the time we met, I had a 600 something to maybe a few months ago when we pulled up that last one when you started doing that last little process, and it was 804, something like that was my top score. So to join the 800 club from bankruptcy, which would seem almost impossible, and most people think would not be a thing that's possible, I can promise you that by getting the help of experts, and I say this to anybody unequivocally, had we not met, Will, and you had explained to me, and I come to that credit to cash course that you guys had in the city, and we built a relationship, and I read your book, and I don't just say that, like, look, like, I don't know if you guys can see my library here, like, I got the book. If you check his Instagram, you'll see my son read the book.
Yeah.
We talked earlier. Those little strategies, really help. And some people think that they can never come back from getting a bankruptcy off their credit and getting themselves back together. But at this point right now, what has become possible for me has been incredible. Being able to get the business line of credit that you helped me to establish. We purchased the properties in Newark. So many things. I don't want to just, overdo it, but I would tell you that so many things have happened, not because I generated so much more cash in business, but because I restored my good name and we got our credit back together.
Right. So it's safe to say there is life after bankruptcy.
Yes, with all that I said, that is probably the best way to say that.
Right. Right. And that's really important that we share that, because I talk to so many people across the country, and people reach out to me, and yes, they're scared of bankruptcy. And I just tell people, bankruptcy was put in place more so as asset protection. It doesn't mean that life is over. But then once you go through that period, that's when you use that time to re-educate yourself about wealth, finances, money, credit, and all of those things, because it's literally now giving you a second chance. But now it's about what you're going to do after that process has completed or rendered itself. And I think that you have been, exemplary in showing that it is possible. But not only that, but then, attacking, entrepreneurship, business life, at a 10x. Because now, like you said, your failures have been your paid tuition. So I would argue and say that you needed to go through those things in order for you to come out where you are right now as an even much more successful entrepreneur.
Absolutely. I have to agree. I would not be nearly as, I would say, as comfortable and pushing forward towards this, I want to say I'm successful, but I wanted to say that pushing forward to the things that I achieved, the greatness of those learning lessons. I do jujitsu, so you talked a little bit about my physical, the stuff that I do for my fitness. And I would tell you, in jujitsu, we say this: you either win or you learn, and that's it. When I go into a competition, and as of now, I'm a 7-time gold championship winner, 16-0. I haven't lost a match yet in the tournament. Pushing forward. Thank you so much. It's one of my passions, and it's because something that I put my heart into, just like you with credit and serving and teaching people. if you give your best to anything, you will get the best possible result that you can get out of it. But even when you falter, even when you don't get to the result that you want, you will either win or you're going to learn. And I learned so much from that now we get this great opportunity to sit here and have this chat and share with people about the experience that they can now learn something from it. And I'm learning right now. I'm saying to myself even further, like, how could I be even a better steward over my credit, or where else in my life am I probably being afraid of attacking something that I could be going into a little bit further,
right,
and maybe digging a little bit deeper,
right, right. Now it's something interesting, and before we go into the Q&A, I wanted to talk a little bit about. I remember coming out to the Black Warrior Conference. First of all, I truly appreciate you inviting me out to that life-changing information, and looking forward to the next one, King. But you mentioned something at that conference when you talked about when you first started jiu-jitsu and how important it was for you to go through. And for those who don't know, you had no experience in mixed martial arts or jiu-jitsu or anything, but it was something that you said that was so profound. What drove you to go through that grueling process? And I mentioned you were one of the oldest competitors there. Is that you've never completed anything or stuck with anything in your life, or one of the very few things that you actually stuck with. And I think that's so common in our community. We'll go and try something, and then if it doesn't work, or we get a little bit of roadblock, we give up. We say it doesn't work, or it's everybody else's fault except ours. Can you talk to a little bit about how important that is? Just commit to the process is half the battle.
Bro, that is so deep, King. I mean, King, I have to tell you, I'm 42 years old at the time of this. I don't know if this will be recorded. I'm sure maybe it'll echo for another month or year or so, whatever it is. But at this point, I'm 42 years old. As a kid, I wasn't really involved in any sports. I kind of was a street kid, but my mom had me involved in educational stuff. So I stayed in educational stuff, and then once I got out of the rebellious stage of that, I was in the streets. And in that, I just did exactly what you said. I did this little TikTok thing. I would do a little bit of something, and then they would get to that point, and I just do something else. Or get a little bit of resistance on something, and then I just kind of do something else. Never to really go all the way through it. Even though when you talked about it, I in the beginning, when you were giving your first part of this conversation, how some people, they don't see the results right away because they come from a transactional mindset. And that's the mindset that I really call it, transactional. We were taught to go to work and get paid, go to work and get paid. And because that gets so embedded into our DNA, it becomes a thing that gets a part of all of our thinking. So investments, doing physical things, competitions, everything needs to be transactional if we have that mindset, which means that if I don't see some results right away, then it must be a failure. That is not going to work for me. And this was just something that I just said, I actually just have to do, and I have to see it through, and I'm going to make it happen. And because I've the same thinking that gets you into the problem can't get you out of it. So what do? You find somebody who has that proper thinking or who is an expert at that thing, you know? And then, just like you and me bounce ideas off the others. You hit me up, hey, listen, Smaller, I want to do this in terms of my fitness. Hey, what could I do? And then I send you some suggestions.
Right.
Hey, Will, listen, man, I need to do this with my credit. Put me into this program and handle this part for me because I don't have time to deal with that particular part. I need you to deal with that for me. And then I'll let you do what you do with that. You follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
My doctor, I let my doctor do what he does. I'm not going to try to be my own doctor.
Right.
So salute to you for that, for bringing that point out. And I hope that the viewers that are here are really getting that, because it's a serious point that, we as, and I say this men, but I know there's women with us as well. I just tend to speak to black men because that's what I do. It's my business is to develop and speak to black men in a leadership group. But all of us, all human beings, should find people who are experts in their field and allow them to shepherd us and guide us in the areas that we are not experts in, so that we don't have to produce everything. Just like you talked about the trading and the bartering. No, you don't have to make everything. All you need to do is, if you're a blacksmith, be a blacksmith and trade your service with somebody who makes bread, or who's a farmer, or who does something else. And because all of us in this tribe, in this community, specialize in our thing, we go and we support one another. We don't hide from it. We're not afraid. We go and face the things that we need from experts, and we get those situations handled and improved and become better for it.
Absolutely, King. No, I definitely appreciate that. That story resonates with me every single time. I feel like I'm hitting a roadblock, and I share that story with all of my clients one-on-one. So hopefully you have a few minutes to stick around. Can you hang around for a few questions?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely,
okay.
Man.
All right, definitely. So let's open it up for some Q&A for both pages. But before we go to the first question, now, a lot of times people come to me and say, hey, does your program really work? We have one of my clients on the line right now who started at a 500, went through bankruptcy, and hit the 800 credit club. And this isn't just for show. His picture is through my feed on Instagram showing his 800 proudly. So definitely get all your questions answered. And
if you want, go to my Instagram. If you go through my Instagram, you'll actually see the snapshot, and you probably see it on yours as well.
Absolutely. All right, what we got, King Daniel?
What advice would you have for a 20-year-old college student trying to build their credit?
So, King Larod, I actually want you to what would you advise? Because I know right now you have a young king, your son, who you are empowering greatly, who's also been reading my book. So, for someone in their 20s going through this process, what would you share with them of how to empower them to getting right on the track of credit?
Well, what I would definitely tell them this is to secure themselves at least one credit card, because if you don't have credit at all, that's just as bad as having bad credit. It's not having no credit, right? Like, some people think that, hey, I don't have no credit cards, I don't have anything, so that means I'm not having any bad credit, and that's not true. And when you get the book, you'll see that is absolutely not true. So you want to have a credit or a line of credit, and you should have actually 3 credit lines. But as a 20-year-old, if you got one at least, and you use it regularly as cash and pay it off in full, if you do that on a regular basis, what you will find is that you will find that credit agency, that credit card, that company will start to extend you more and more credit, because they earn money based on you using their card. And you now will be, you're an asset to them because you're using them. In my business, I don't use cash at all. I start to see that you'll have more accessible and available credit.
Absolutely. So just learning how to play the game different. All right, what else we got, King?
How long did it take to get from a 500 to an 800?
Well, I mean, it's a little challenging to say it directly, and it definitely will not be your scenario because everybody's scenario is different. In 2012, my bankruptcy closed, I was saying about 5, and then it takes about, I would be honest with you, in 6 to 8 weeks, I was receiving credit card applications in the mail. Like literally, like after my bankruptcy closed, I was receiving applications for credit cards and solicitations for credit cards because they know you cannot go bankrupt again for another 7 years. So if you're actually a good credit risk, and companies like Capital One, who are really, they're risk averse for that. So those are the type of people who will reach out to you and they'll give you an opportunity. But I would say this is the shortest answer. The faster you get to someone like Will Roundtree, I would definitely tell you to go to Mr. Will Roundtree directly, right? But so as we to be generic and just being good men, providing information here to you, I would say the faster you get to an expert that could tell you exactly and assess what's your credit. I had to be vulnerable. I never wanted to just give up the access to look at my credit score because I was keeping it all to myself. I was too embarrassed. As soon as I stopped being embarrassed, that's the time period. That was the biggest time period. As soon as I stopped being embarrassed and I handed over the access and said, Will, read my credit and see all of the stuff that I messed up. And then he just went to work. And, I did all of the process. I responded to the letters and I sent in all my documents. And before you know it, it was just time and time. And it was just a process. And yes, it's going to take some time. And each person is different. And I'm sure Will may have a different, he may have something, a different perspective on it. But I'll tell you that he moved, I think he moved mountains from my situation.
Appreciate that.
Somebody else.
All right, what else we got, Ken?
So we got two similar questions, but it's basically the same one. So with student loans, can we get those removed from our report without actually paying them? And if not, how can we lessen the blow on the report?
So when it comes to student loans, the thing we have to understand is that it's government debt. So yes, it can be disputed. Now, if the information within the student loans are reporting inaccurately, when disputed, yes, they have to remove it. Doesn't mean you don't owe the debt. So the bigger question I would ask is, what is it that you're trying to do? Because first of all, we want to make sure you get your student loans out of default. Because as long as they're in default, even if you dispute them and they come off, they have the right to repost it again the very following month. So I would say you definitely want to get with a credit expert or someone that's an expert in the realm of dealing with student loan debt. So that way we can solve that particular, that particular issue first. But yes, you can dispute student loan debt if it's not being reported accurately on a report.
Is there any way you can will your credit to an heir?
No, but you can use your credit to build wealth and use that wealth and will to an heir, which is, essentially what we teach in leveraging your credit.
Okay, so student loans is kicking my butt, stopping me from getting approved for trade lines. How should I deal with the conciliation? If so,
consolidation. Probably so. Yeah.
If so, will it get removed from collections?
Consolidating your student loan debt does not help your credit score. It just helps it to be much more manageable. But what I would recommend is one of my partners who I deal with, the student loan doctor. She's out here tearing it up with her program. I would say reach out to me. I will connect you with her, because with student loan debt, the one thing I always tell people is that, what a lot of these creditors are now starting to do, especially with the student loan debt, they're reporting it on your LexisNexis. So even if it comes off your report, when you go to start trying to buy a house, they can still see the debt there. So that's why I'm always an advocate for getting out of default first and then attacking it. So we have to just stop trying to run from it or put a band-aid on it. Let's actually try to cure what it is that you're dealing with. So I would say, reach out to us. I'll get you in touch with the student loan doctor, and hopefully we can start to give you the remedy for those issues.
How do I get to leverage everything gear?
Oh man, you can go to the go to the website. We haven't did the hats yet, but for those who've seen, we just dropped a new crew neck sweater that is on the website, wemanagementinc.com. The crew neck is limited, so you definitely want to grab them before all of the sizes. We do have the up to the 3X that is available as well.
Is there a way to remove medical bills inherited as next of kin, owner of the insurance policy they were on?
Very good question. So for those who do not know, if you are the primary insurance provider for your household, or someone next to kin, and someone has medical debt, they can put that debt on your credit report. I do highly, just let it run. I do highly recommend that you can't, well, first of all, you can dispute the medical debt, because keep in mind, there are things like the HIPAA Act and HIPAA laws that are put in place that protects us as consumers, which essentially means that a medical facility cannot share your information with a third party. So it makes it a little bit more challenging and difficult for them to validate medical debt that hits your credit report. So yes, you can dispute it. Now, I want to make this disclaimer very clear. Just because something comes off your credit report, i.e. a debt, does not mean you do not owe it. It just means it doesn't affect your credit. So, but yes, you can dispute medical debt.
I lost my job and now child support is on my credit report. How do I deal with that?
You definitely got to deal with it through the state, or because what happens with child support now, you can dispute child support, especially if they're reporting the information inaccurately. But if you are in arrears, they are going to re-report it every single month. So I would recommend that you do at least, work something out with the state and try to get, at least out of default, so that they're not going to constantly report it. But you can dispute it. So keep in mind, you can dispute anything reporting derogatory on your report. And if the information that they're reporting is inaccurate, meaning inaccurate could mean they're not reporting the dollar amount that you owe accurately. That would be inaccurate information. And then if they can't prove down to the penny of the amount that you're disputing versus what they're reporting, then they have to remove it from the report. All right, so while we're waiting for some more questions to come in, King LaRod.
Yes, sir.
Are you still with us? Perfect. So
I am. I'm listening, bro. As much as everyone else is, I'm enjoying the information.
Okay. So before, we got somebody. Okay, somebody got a question. What's going on?
What advice can you give? What advice can you give to get the confidence needed to become successful?
Oh man, I think both of us should answer this question, but I'll give you the floor first, King.
Okay. So go back over that just because I want to be clear. You said the confidence necessary to do what?
To become successful.
Okay, so for the term successful is an abstract term. I'm trying to be very careful about that because it's like this ambiguous thing of success. Where do you see that line at? And the hardest part for most people to do in business or in anything is to write out exactly what they want. First, you really need to know exactly what you want. Most of us in this world are influenced by so many other things, which are social media, what other people are posting, what you think other people want to see you have, the glamour and the glitz of those who may have already achieved some type of level of affluence. And we don't really determine what in our soul and in our bodies we want. And I'll give you a little thing that I told you guys what type of cars I was driving before. I was driving, over $100,000 vehicles before. And right now, I drive a Ford F-150. I drive a pickup truck. I didn't know that I love a pickup truck until I started asking myself questions. Well, what do I really want? that, you'll start to define out what truly success is for you. That's the biggest part. And when you do that first, right? When you do that, then you will start to believe. You will start to believe in who you are. Because when you believe that you want what you want, you are now connected to believing who it is that you are. And believing who you are is very congruent with confidence. So I would say start first with clearing your world from what the influences of other people are and write out what your world looks like the way you truly want it without any other influence. And then when you do that powerfully, I believe you will find congruently that type of person who is confident enough to start taking the action to doing what's necessary. I'll leave you guys with this one last point too. Many people want to go after things in terms of the next thing to do, right? Confidence leads you into things to do. And I'm going to tell you this. In business, in my 15 years, I found that it's never about what you need to do. It's always about who you need to be, who you must become. When you become the right person at the right time, you will automatically and always do the right thing.
That's so key. And I'm gonna just and not to just echo every single thing that you said, so it doesn't sound redundant. But there's a quote that says by the author Jim Rohn, "You want to work harder on yourself than you're doing your business." When you do that, that's when you will achieve success. Because, like King Larod said, now you don't care what anybody else think about you. You have the confidence to go out there, whether people think it's a crazy idea, whether it's silly. I mean, when I first told people I was going to do credit repair, they laughed at me. They said it's a million of those guys out there. But then I would tell them, you know what? But they not me. And so I always tell people I'm always going to bet on myself. But yeah, that comes over time as you continue to develop, as an individual and as a leader. So that's definitely well echoed what King Larod said. All right, what else we got, King?
What do you feel about credit sweeps?
Credit sweeps is just a terminology. It's a marketing terminology that people use to try to make it seem like they're going to do something much more miraculous to clean up your credit, and they charge you, 3 times the fee. So, it's not anything any different than that's already been done out there. All right. So we got about 5 minutes left, King Larod. I just want you to, just drop, your math, your knowledge, let people know how they can find you, where they can pick up your book, and, so that they can follow you, and give them, also if anybody was interested and wanted to get more information about the Black Warrior movement that you have, please share that information.
Okay, so I would tell you this, that over the last 3 years, it took me through a personal pilgrimage outside of getting myself out of a financially destitute spot. Once you get out of a spot of financial destitution, and it's not about how much money you have, in order to survive, you start to decide how it is that you want to live your life. And are you living your life in a full way? And I went on this kind of search to find that way. And I truly believe that incorporating some core principles that I found in this group of warriors, that I truly designed a life that I'm proud of. I'm living a life by design and through these simple core principles. And I teach that to men, specifically Black men. Not that any man doesn't benefit from it, because absolutely any man or any woman could. But I truly believe that if in the Black community we are going to have a significant change, it needs to start at home, in the family. See, Black kids won't be out selling drugs in the street or getting hit by cars or being grabbed by police if they were home, if they were doing things that were powerful and constructive. There wouldn't be women that separated from their husbands if husbands were operating powerfully and taking care of their families and dominating in industry and in business the way they could. And there's 4 core areas of doing that. And I teach that in Black Warrior King. We are a tribe. a tribe of men that work together, that develop one another, and we support and help one another to be powerful, to be educated, to work with one another, to work on everything from our bodies, our being, our balance, and our business. All of the areas in our life that matter most. So we put on our first event in September of last year, and I was so proud to have you come and participate and actually do, to speak there, right? And everybody was so honored to have you do a live FICO Friday from the event.
Right.
That was incredible. People look back, they'll see that you did FICO Friday right from the event. And we were all there, and it was recorded. It was amazing. And that's the type of stuff I bring to the tribe. And I help these men to now bring it home to their families, to their wives, their significant others, and then impart it into their children, and then extend it into their communities. Because if you can change a family, you can change a neighborhood, a community, into a city, into a state, into a country, into the world. And that's really what my mission is.
Definitely.
So we started with that event, Rise of the Black Warrior, in 2018.
Well, let me do this, King. King, let me do this. Because I know we are getting close to, because Instagram will cut off on us. So I want to make sure you let people know how they can find you, where they can follow you at. And then definitely everybody make sure that they do reach out to the King and get more information.
Okay, you can look us up at Rise of the Black Warrior at Gmail, and you can also .com. That's my Gmail. And you can also check us out at Rise of the Black Warrior on Instagram. My personal Instagram is at Lerod, Lerrod. That's just my personal Instagram. You can message me. You can, follow and see what I'm up to personally. And, I'd love to communicate with you, connect with you, support you any way that I can.
Definitely. Appreciate you, King. So we appreciate you coming on. Like I say, I know you have an extremely busy schedule, so I definitely am humbly gracious that you took an hour out of your day to build with us here today on FICO Friday. Hopefully, people, my family, you guys have got some substance out of this live today. Again, I just wanted to, bring and not just have it be specifically about credit all the time. I mean, we talked about more so when it comes to your mindset and dealing with credit and how to overcome those hurdles. But, the thing that I really wanted to bring Lerod on is just that, I just appreciate, what he brings to the table, especially dealing with our community and dealing with black men. And I wholeheartedly feel that, he offers insight, and even just, with the Black King Warrior, what they offer, even if you didn't even partake in any of his events, you will definitely learn something just by following the brother. So make sure you guys are going to follow King Lerod. That's at Lerod on Instagram. And family, so that's pretty much about it. Make sure, if you have not done so, pick up a copy of my book, Credit is King. Be on the lookout. We are going to have another flash sale for credit repair, dropping the day after Christmas, going all the way through to the new year. So make sure you're following us. If you are not doing so, Mr. Will Roundtree page, please go and follow J Morrison Academy page on Instagram. Also, if you're not subscribed on my YouTube, make sure you're following me and subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, family. Peace.